I had a hell of a coughing fit right there before the intro ended. One moment. Alrighty. That's a little better. Oh, man. Wow. Luckily today, there is some insanity in the news, but luckily it didn't take the dive that it could have. That reminds me, I forgot to check Market Watch at the end of the day. See how bad, crypto's currently 5 in the green. So, not horrible. Anywho, no, not anything, unfortunately, I can't say anything too out of the ordinary. There was a couple of things, especially, and I've got the tab up, something about London airports and not selling tickets. I thought that was interesting. Trying to think. Seems like there was something that I was going to tell you about, and totally left my mind. Anywho, don't know of any updates really here. As you could see from the video, I got my phone fixed earlier, so it's working really well. Got it all charged up and seems to be functioning properly, so that's all I ask for. Anywho, trying to think. Not much else exciting that I can think of as far as we're concerned. Just looking out over this news, and like I say, today wasn't as big of a downfall as it could have been. At least I'm not aware of anything that massively went off a cliff today. However, there was quite a few interesting stories that came up, and I think some pretty good indicators of the times that we're in. Don't have a lot really, just, I've literally got 4 tabs open to talk to you about the different news. And, there's the same, roughly the same amount of headlines today that I shared out. But, again, nothing. And you may feel differently. You may see some headlines that I cover when I go over the headlines. And you might think, well, I would have talked about that, and I would have talked about that. I don't know. I just kind of pick and choose, and sometimes if I feel like it's been beating a dead horse, I'll try to pick topics around that dead horse. So, like, man, I was so sick to death of talking about COVID. Thank goodness that's not in the news cycle every single day now. Oh, man. Goodness. Oh, I never did turn that down. That's where the hum was coming from. I guess I need a little better cable than I have, because I get a hum. Not a Hummer. I wouldn't be complaining. No, I get a hum because I've got, I guess, just cheap, relatively cheap cables. So, is what it is. Let's see. Can't think of anything outside of what I'd already discussed. I guess we'll jump on over to the web view, and I'll just get this stuff covered and get out of here and make an easy night. I'm not completely against that. Oh, man. Tell you what, I am sore. I don't know why. I guess it's with the changes in the barometric pressure and stuff, but I've got joint issues, and not that kind of joint. I can roll just fine. The problem is the joints in my body. They get inflamed really bad when the barometric pressure changes very much. And man, I'll tell you what, I've just been getting, as far as barometric pressure and stuff, my body feels like it's just been getting yanked and back and forth, just nonstop. And oof. Anyway, just stiff and sore. So I'm getting old. I pretty much reached that age of just get off my lawn, you know. But I ought to put a sign out, get off my lawn. Nobody walks through the lawn, but you know. All right. Russia gears up for mass production of Sarmat ICBM, says Roscosmos. Dmitry Rogozin, and I don't know how to say his name, the head of Russia's Roscosmos space agency, said on Tuesday that the new Sarmat nuclear-capable intercontinental ballistic missile is being prepared for a series of tests and mass production. And to be real honest with you, I think these have been in mass production for quite some time. I have been saying that, and I know a lot of people had doubted me when I said that I expected that they had S-500 systems ready to go, ready to deploy, and it turned out they did. Because they had been talking all up until that point. They had been talking, you know, about how they were still doing the testing and they hadn't even gone into production yet. And I was like, they've already got them ready to deploy. And I'm sure the same is true with this Sarmat. So anyway, it goes on to say the world's most powerful global range nuclear tipped missile is being prepared for new test and serial production, Rogozin wrote on Telegram. In early July, the Roscosmos chief inspected the Krasmash plant in the city of Krasnoyarsk, in eastern Siberia. What? It's Krasnoyarsk. So that's Krasnoyarsk. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, it's in eastern Siberia, for those that can't pronounce it. To check on the efforts to continue testing and ensure that serial production is successfully launched. In May, he spoke about the Sarmat's offensive capabilities, saying that it can demolish half of the coast of some large continent should a nation decide to take an aggressive stance towards Russia. Hang on. Oh, man. Let's see. The Sarmat ICBM was first successfully test-launched on April 20th from the Plus Test Cosmodrome in, I can't say these places. The new missile is expected to enter active combat duty by the end of 2022, Russian President Vladimir Putin said in late June. The ICBM is set to replace older Voyevoda systems, also known by the NATO reporting name as SS-18 Satan. According to earlier statement from Rogozin, the Sarmat, dubbed the Satan II, is the most powerful missile of its class in terms of range and warheads, and is designed to be invincible to all existing air defenses. So, and like I said, I think they've been in production for a while. I don't think it's anything new, and I think more than anything, it's just chess that's being played. You know, I honestly feel, again, let's keep in mind that I can't sit here and tell you with absolute certainty that what we see is what is going on. We could all be being played. But if there is a true conflict between the nations, I I think this is just a chess move from Putin to make it seem like, okay, well, maybe they aren't quite ready yet, so now would be the time. And honestly, I think it would be, if that's the case, I think it would be Russia just entrapping us, I think Russia is prepared, if everything is at least somewhat as it seems, I would say that Russia is prepared and very probably even expects an invasion. So, or at least combat. I think it would start out maybe in Ukraine region, but I think it would spill over the border really quick. Once NATO got involved, I think it's going to go across the border real quick. I don't think it's going to stay in Ukraine. In fact, I think NATO will go for big targets. Big targets, right from the get-go, like Moscow. Hang on. Yep, and I'm not saying, wiped off the face of the earth, but surgical strategic strikes, right? Probably carried off with stealth drones, I would imagine. Let's see. Syringe attacks puzzle European authorities. So, I'm telling you, people are going to find a way. If people want to cause harm, if they have evil in their heart, they are going to find a way to do it. Doesn't matter the choice of weapon. Maybe we need to focus on why people are doing this stuff. Revelers at the Festival of San Fermin in Pamplona, Spain, have reported being stuck with syringes in crowded public spaces. Little is known about the substances they've been injected with, but one curious detail in victim testimony may link the attacks with a spate of similar syringe assaults in France. As crowds gathered in Pamplona to watch daredevils run with the bulls over the weekend, a more sinister threat was lurking on the sidelines. 4 young people, 3 females and a male, told police that they felt a pinching sensation before being overcome with dizziness, nausea, vomiting, and cold sweats. All 4 were taken to the hospital by their friends, El Mundo reported on Tuesday. None were separated from their friends, none suffered sexual abuse, and no toxic substances were found in samples from the victims. While the national authorities have opened an investigation, police don't know who carried out the attacks or why. There is nothing concrete and nothing clear at the moment. A police source told El Mundo, "We need more time." However, all 4 victims told police that they remembered a group of young French people beside them at the time of the attacks. 2 weeks earlier, the authorities in France detained and charged multiple suspects for allegedly pricking people with syringes at nightclubs and concerts. The victims were mostly young women, and 1,004 of them filed formal complaints since January, the Associated Press reported. In the cases that resulted in charges, medical testing revealed no signs of harmful substances in the victims. They displayed similar symptoms to those in Spain and had visible signs of injection, including puncture marks and bruises. Police found syringes and drugs in the belongings of at least 2 suspects, but toxicology reports have failed to show that these drugs were injected into the victims. However, unless tests were carried out immediately, the presence of GHB, a powerful anesthetic known as date rape drug, could have gone unnoticed, as it leaves the bloodstream within 12 hours. We didn't find any drugs or substances or objective proof which attest to administration of a substance with wrongful or criminal intent. What we fear the most is people contracting HIV, hepatitis, or any infectious disease. A doctor working with multiple victims in the French city of Nancy told NPR last month. There aren't any similarities between the cases. The only similar is that people are being injected with the needle in a festive context in different places in France, a police official added. A rise in syringe attacks was also noted by UK authorities last October, while scattered cases have been reported in Belgium and the Netherlands. So this is a thing in some places, and it's pretty crazy. I know that this was supposedly happening here. I can't remember the one concert that I think that's what they said was what caused everybody to be in a panic, was supposedly somebody was going around injecting, but I think the story had since changed, and I don't remember what the last of it is, but and I can't even remember which rapper it was that it happened at, but oh man, I am just tired and sore. Need nicotine. One second. Oh man. Alright. My sinuses have been hell all day as well. A new Ukraine aid package is announced by the U.S. What? You weren't done helping them, were you? I mean, you couldn't have possibly been done wanting to help them. I mean, we all want many, many, many more billions of dollars sent over there and not spent here in the U.S. while we all drowned with the cost of inflation and rising utility costs. And no, we want to help Ukraine. The U.S. announced on Tuesday that it will send an additional $1.7 billion with a B in funding to Ukraine in a bid to help President Vladimir Zelensky pay public sector employees. U.S. President Joe Biden had previously told Americans that they would have to sacrifice their quality of life to prop up Kiev. F Kiev. I don't care. I mean, it's not that I don't care about the citizens, the innocent people in Kiev, but I'm not going to sit here and prop up a government that's just as corrupt as our own. And no, not happening. Nope. We got our own stuff to take care of. The aid package, which was announced by the United States Agency for International Development, was described as direct budgetary aid to ensure the Ukrainian government can continue operating. It is the second such tranche of aid, or tranche, I don't know how you would say that, of aid announced by USAID in less than 2 weeks, bringing the agency's total spending on Ukraine to date to $4 billion. Zelensky has previously claimed that his government needed $5 billion per month to remain functional and to pay the salaries of government employees, including soldiers, teachers, and healthcare workers. My daddy used to tell me, you in one hand and wish in the other, and see which one comes first. The United States is rushing in with financial support to help the government keep the lights on, provide essential services to innocent citizens, and pay the healthcare workers who are providing life-saving support on the front lines, USAID Administrator Samantha Power said in a statement. News of the latest cash transfer to Ukraine comes after U.S. President Joe Schmuck Biden on Friday announced a $400 million package of military aid to Kiev, the 15th since Russia launched its military operation in February. In total, the U.S. has allocated more than, get this, $55 billion worth of money, or, worth of military and economic aid to Ukraine since February. Now, how many billions with a B was spent on the American people to help the American people out over the COVID epidemic? How many? Does anybody remember? I don't remember. But if you remember, let me know. I can't remember, but I know it wasn't even remotely near $55 billion with a B dollars. So, man, I cannot believe it. And in order to give this money, they have to print it. They have to print it. Right? And all that inflation that we're paying right now, that's not even covering the money they're printing to give them this money. We're nowhere near even starting to pay for the money that's being spent today. Oh, we'll get there quickly. Very quickly. But we are hosed. We are absolutely hosed. Crazy. I mean, somebody with intent, somebody with motive and intent could not run this nation into the ground as quickly and as hard as Joe Biden is. I mean, seriously. I don't think, man, that's like genius skill level when it comes to the destruction of a nation. One thing I always heard about Bush Jr. is not to underestimate him. That he wasn't the stupid hillbilly that he made himself look to be. And I always kept that in the back of my head. Because I figured it was probably true. And while there ain't much that could even remotely convince me that Biden has all his oars in the water, I don't think he's this far disconnected to not understand the implications of the things that he's doing. I think he knows very well what he's doing, even if he don't remember where he's at. So, anywho, crazy. I'm gonna enjoy a vape. I'm nursing the last of this. My bottle here is like empty. And I'm nursing it until tomorrow. Tomorrow after I get up, I'll change out flavors. I don't take that one to bed. I've been taking this one, my little bitty Orion. What is this? Orion Plus. So, lost vape. I've been taking it to bed. Oh, let me charge it. Hang on. I forgot to plug it in. Doesn't take long. Alright, sorry about that. Well, this thing pops and cracks and makes all kinds of noise and all that, and I don't want to, like, wake Jen up because I can't sleep and I'm vaping. So that's why that's why I take the other one in there, because it doesn't do all that popping and cracking and all that stuff. Not only that, But if I happen to fall asleep with it in my hand, this thing will dump e-juice all over because it doesn't seal. It's not designed to. However, that is, and so it's not a big deal. If you drop it in bed, it's just gonna go to sleep with you. So, and that's much better than falling asleep with a cigarette in your hand and going to sleep with a lit cigarette. That can suck. Been there, done that a few times. Alright. London airport stops selling tickets. I saw this headline and I thought, ooh, this is not a good sign. Heathrow Airport in London has ordered airlines to stop selling tickets for the rest of the summer. Yeah, that's what it says. Insisting it must limit itself to 100,000 passengers per day until September 11th. Don't you find that as an incredible date? An open letter to passengers on Tuesday stated, the airport's CEO, John Holland Kay, wrote that as departing passenger numbers have regularly exceeded 100,000 a day, we have started to see periods when service drops to a level that is not acceptable. Acknowledging massive flight delays, failures in baggage transportation, and last-minute cancellations, he blamed there being too many passengers and not enough employees. At Heathrow, we have seen 40 years of passenger growth in just 4 months. Holland Kay stated in the letter, claiming the airport had been recruiting since November in anticipation of demand spikes over the summer and promising to have as many security workers by the end of July as the airport employed prior to the pandemic. Despite these promises, Holland Kay said an excessive number of seats had already been sold, blaming airlines for not canceling more flights when they were offered the chance to do so without risking future cuts to their flight slot allotment. I'm trying not to say slut. Let's see. A government amnesty allowed airports to cancel more flights in advance than was previously permitted. Airlines were given until last Friday to give back airport slots. Give back them airport slots. Sorry, couldn't resist. They weren't planning on using without running the usual risk of being denied a larger number of slots in the future. Sorry. However, Holland Kay warned that even despite the amnesty, daily departing seats over the summer will average 104,000, which is 4,000 seats more than the airport is prepared to handle, with about 1,500 of those 4,000 daily seats sold already. The CEO is hoping to prevent further bookings to limit the impact on passengers. Heathrow, like many other European airports, is suffering from major staffing shortages. I guess so, having laid off numerous employees during the COVID-19 pandemic, and while others quit. While airlines struggle to fill thousands of vacancies, passengers stuck at home over the past 2 years are eager to take advantage of the lifting of vaccine and testing mandates to travel once again, and outcome airline industry representatives say the airport should have been seen coming. International Air Transport Association Director General Willie Walsh pointed out that airlines have been predicting stronger traffic than Heathrow has been predicting, arguing Heathrow clearly got it completely wrong and calling the London's hub demands ridiculous. Prior to the pandemic, Heathrow averaged about 220,000 passengers per day between arrivals and departures. Gatwick, the other major London airport, has already imposed passenger caps for the summer. And I am wondering if what they're just doing is starting to limit our travel. You know, because it almost seems that they have in every other way. Have they not eliminated a bunch of public transportation? Now, I'm not saying like all of it, but there's a lot of places, a lot of cities and stuff that some of the bus routes were stopped. I mean, that happened a lot of places. So you got that. Of course, you've got the issues with the railways. You've got the issues with, you know, the bus lines aren't doing that hot. Man. But, like the article states, there's a whole lot of people that are getting out and starting to do stuff again. And so these numbers are kind of exploding. But you're going to see that mostly at the airlines before you would at like bus depots or train stations. You're going to see it more at the airlines. Other than that, people are going to drive. But a lot of people have given up their ideas for a vacation because of the cost of food, because of the cost of fuel, because just the total cost of living. A lot of people have given up their summer plans, what they would normally do or what they were planning to do as a result of all of the inflation and price increases. So it's insane. It's insane. But I see this, I see a negative two ways with this. Not only that they've got an issue dealing with that level of a demand, and number two, I think that some of this is done to, again, further limit us, and I think they're going to continue to clamp down and limit our travel. I think that's part of the big plan. They don't want us traveling. They don't want us doing things. They want us doing nothing and staying at home in our pods while we eat our grasshoppers, owning nothing and being happy. So if that sounds like a good plan to you, I can't tell you what to do because I'd probably get in trouble, but we could say jump off a bridge. It's insane. It's insane. No, even if you want to be in a little pod eating grasshoppers and not owning anything and being happy, don't jump off a bridge. I mean, why would you? You're happy, right? Maybe grasshoppers taste good and I just don't know it. Maybe your pod is cozy. Who am I to judge? Anyway. Why am I getting strange looks from you? Gosh. All right, let's read these headlines, and I'll rush out the back door, literally, because I got to take trash out. And I'm not putting myself out there. I'll go out next week, so I'm not going to put myself out. Trash. Never mind. Anyway, let's see. All right, NASA unveils first photo from new telescope. Joe Biden slammed after calling Latinos breakfast tacos. France could face blackouts without Russian gas, says Michelin boss. Russia-Ukraine crisis threatens favorite Middle Eastern dip. 5 killed, at least 80 injured in southern Ukraine shelling, says an official. Scotland pauses help for Ukrainian refugees. EU warned of new waves of migration. That should be a song. New waves of migration. Sorry. India ramps up purchases of Russian oil, says Reuters. Biden asks Senate to ratify Sweden and Finland's NATO bids. Russia reports first monkeypox case. Video shows aftermath of Novaya Kakhovka shelling. And I'm sure I said that wrong. Russia may expand ruble for gas payments to LNG. British commandos may have committed war crimes, says the BBC. Musk says Trump should sail into the sunset. I would agree. Iran set to send hundreds of drones to Russia, says Washington. And by the way, when I say that about Trump, it's not just because he's not, I'm not a fan of his, but it's for the fact that he carries around so much baggage with him regardless, that we got to get stuff done. And we can't get stuff done if people spend the entire term attacking the person that was elected into office. I mean, just a relentless string of attacks like happened with Trump. We don't got time for, ain't nobody got time for that. And so we just, I think, personally, I think DeSantis would probably be a good choice. But I'm not going to throw my hat in that ring because I choose no evil. No evil. Not the lesser of, no evil. And that's not offered. So, Iran set to send hundreds of drones to Russia, says Washington. EU approves €1 billion loan for Ukraine. Dollar stronger than euro for the first time in 20 years. Russia claims it destroyed U.S.-made Harpoon launchers in Ukraine. Zelensky slams Canada over Russian-bound gas turbine. Russia-bound gas turbine. Turbine. Not a turbine like a hat. Turbine. Like a spinny thing. Russia. I'm being a jackass. Ignore me. Let's see. I covered that one. Germany hopes for resumption of Russian gas supplies. Russia identifies by name British and American mercenaries en route to Ukraine. I would say that's some intelligence. Putin to meet leaders of Iran and Turkey, says Kremlin. U.S. assassinates ISIS leader. Israel and Poland inch closer to bridging World War II restitution rift. EU is set to allow seizure of Russian assets, says official. Sri Lankan president caught fleeing the country, says reports. U.S. and UK are shell game tricksters, says former Russian president. A Balkan nation accepted into Eurozone. A SpaceX booster rocket exploded during test launch. A Ukraine frees warlord sentenced for torture, says media. Liz Truss moves step closer in Tory leadership. A critical European energy provider forced to shut down, says media. Spain to gift tanks to Ukraine, says reports. EU's top court rules in favor of shelved Russian pipeline. U.S. carbon emissions lay waste to poorer countries, says study. Nearly 200 people in need of medical aid after Kiev's attack on Ukrainian city. The final state of Boris Johnson replacements revealed. Zelensky, get this, Zelensky to consider honoring gay porn star with a monument. So his nation's at war right now with Russia. Right? He is demanding $5 billion with a B dollars a month in operating fees. And here, his concern is a gay porn star monument. I say we let his country go to hell. Along with him. In a handbasket. London airport stopped selling tickets. I covered that. Ukrainian lawmakers support secession of Chechnya. A UN chief calls for blacklisting Israel over child deaths. NATO EU want to track weapons sent to Ukraine, says media. And that is the headlines. That's all of them. For now. It's crazy. I did get done kind of quick tonight. But yeah, it's insanity. Like I said, there's not anything that really jumped out super terrible. Not in what I had anyway. But definite moving in the wrong direction. We're continuing to go off that cliff. So anyway, I'm going to jump off this cliff and get out of here. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll do this nonsense all over again. I appreciate y'all coming. Hope to see you tomorrow night. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.